Don't stop.
It's about to be New Year, so people's gonna start flooding our timelines with this New Year, new me bullshit. Now, I can't even fucking take it. It's like, if you do that shit this year, I'm blocking you, and I'm not even fucking playing. I will block the fuck out of you, because I don't like this new me bullshit, because nobody's ever a new me. It's like, you're at the age now where you're still gonna be the same bitch. So just say New Year, still the same shit. You know what I'm saying? Or New Year, making modifications. Or New Year, I'm gonna try harder this time. You know, like New Year, fuck it. You know, just keep it real with all of us. And I'm not trying to be a Debbie Downer. I'm just saying, don't flood me with the new me bullshit, because 2 months into the fucking resolution, you the same bitch. So let's just start there from the beginning. You know what I'm saying? It's like, for me, it's like, I'm still not gonna like what I have to do. I'm still not gonna like the bitches I have to do it with. I'm still gonna eat chicken. I'm still gonna sleep in my fucking makeup. I'm still gonna curse you out if you come at me wrong. It's just a part of who I am. It's like, I'm old enough now where I am who I am, and it ain't gonna change. You know what I'm saying? I'm still not gonna like fucking kitten heels. I can't figure out why somebody wants to be 0.3 inches off the fucking ground talking about these are red bottoms. Like, well, bitch, I couldn't tell.
Oh my God. That is the Real Bonnet Chronicles, an Instagram account that I follow. And it's Tammy Rowan, who is on The Real World, Los Angeles. And she's been in the news recently, and I reported on her in my other podcast that she has a lesbian daughter that she's not necessarily supporting. So, but anyway, before I get too started into this podcast, welcome to the Everything and Anything in a Bit Gay podcast. I'm your host, Zach Randalls Friedman. And today we are going to reflect on 2025. We're going to talk about New Year's resolutions and kind of go through that whole thing. We all try to do New Year's resolutions, I think at least most of us do. I set them for myself every year. I maybe tell my husband or friends or whoever about them, or maybe they're just in my head. And every year I maybe get 20% of my resolutions actually that I do. So let's start with the reflection first of 2025. I want to first start off by saying thank you to every single person that has listened to my podcast. I enjoy doing this podcast more than you know. I love talking with all these different people. I get to meet such a different realm of people that I normally wouldn't talk to. They're inspiring, they're unique, they have interesting stories. Some of them are survivors. I mean, I've talked with psychics and mediums and healers. I've also talked to someone that is a ghost hunter, a person that can heal people with his energy, a woman that can cleanse your house of negative energy. I have gone through a past life hypnosis with an amazing woman named Myra Rath. I have interviewed authors of amazing, really great books. I interviewed this one author who has written 2 books by using tarot cards. Her name is Kelly. She is absolutely amazing. And I want to be her best friend because I loved her so much on the podcast when I did the interview with her. There's so many guests. And one of my favorite recent guests is, her name is Bernie. And she is a transgender woman who decided to come out as a transgender woman at the age of 66 years old. I mean, you have to celebrate that for someone that can be that brave at 66 and be their authentic self. I mean, I applaud it. This show has made me just appreciate and think about things so differently in so many ways. I look forward to doing this podcast. You know, the planning of it and scheduling people and all the behind the scenes stuff, maybe I could do without. If this podcast ever becomes super, super successful, hopefully I would have a team that could do all this stuff. But right now, it's just me and an editor. And we're making it work. And I enjoy it. And again, I cannot thank everybody enough for coming and listening to my show and leaving a comment, or going to my Instagram and leaving a comment and talking about shows, and going to YouTube and leaving a comment. It's what I love to do. And one day I hope this is my full-time job. I hope. And thank you to everyone that has listened. And if you haven't left a comment on my podcast, please go to Apple or Spotify or whatever platform you listen to and give me a thumbs up and leave a nice comment and tell me that you enjoyed the show, because I would love to hear that. And, when I think about this podcast, about what's made me think differently, I'll share one thing that's really been in my mind. So, unfortunately, over the Thanksgiving break, my mother in law, who I love very, very much, passed away. She battled Parkinson's and cancer and had other health issues. And I think it was during right before Thanksgiving, she passed away. And I've always said in this podcast on many episodes that since meeting these psychics and these mediums and understanding what happens when you die, that your soul or spirit goes into this realm of energy, and then you're back with the other people that you're experiencing this other world and this other dimension or whatever you want to call it. And then you come back and you're reincarnated, and you could be in this world or a different world or be something completely different. I don't know, you could be a tree, you could be an animal, you could be on another planet as an alien. I mean, I always knew before I started this podcast, like, I didn't believe in the whole heaven and hell and Jesus and all that. I haven't believed in that in decades. But this show has taught me, after meeting with all these mediums and taking a mediumship class and seeing it for myself and experiencing it for myself, about what really happens. But what I have been thinking about for the last several weeks, since my mother-in-law just passed away, is that I was sad for myself because I knew that she wasn't going to be available to me to call or to go on vacations with or to go visit anymore. I know that she's in a much better place. She's not suffering anymore with all this. And she's back with her father and her mother and her siblings and all the other people that have passed in their souls. And she'll be looking after me and my husband and the rest of her family. But what I didn't, when I say I'm not afraid to die, I never really kind of thought about, I'm not afraid to die, but it's sad that she's gone from me and for all the people that are here, all these people that loved her. That's the part I never really kind of register. I'm like, oh yeah, when I die, like, I die and it's fine. But I never thought about, when I die, like, the pain that I'm leaving for certain people. So if I die before my husband does, then he's left here alone. He, if I, we're in our 80s and I die, he's got to live the rest of his life alone as a gay old man. And, I think that's it. Just, I've really kind of overthought this in some ways, about how painful death is for the people that are left here after you die. And that funerals are really just for the people that are here. And it's not necessarily for the person that has died, because they're not there, but it's for everybody else to kind of mourn together and come together and to reflect and to talk about memories and stuff. So I just look at death even in a different way than I did a month ago. And, I don't want to die anytime soon. I'm still not scared to die. It's just like, I have a heavy heart thinking about, like, whenever, you do die, how painful it is for the people that are left here. So, just kind of things that you think about and you experience and you kind of figure out in life. And, it makes me think about my own mom. She's 75 years old and in okay health, but, she's going to be gone one day. And I've definitely thought about that more. And it's opened my mind in a lot of ways. So, but let's move off the subject of death, and let's talk about some of the things that I did in 2025 that I'm happy I did, or not happy, or whatever. So, first of all, at the beginning of the year, I got to bring my friend Mandy to London and Paris, because she has never been to Europe. And we got to experience that in February, or I guess, or March. And it was a great way to kind of start off the year with a trip to Europe. It was not the first time I've been to Europe since COVID, no, but it was really nice for her to see her experience a whole new culture, a whole new country, for her to see the Eiffel Tower, for her to see the Tower of London and Big Ben and just experience the food and the culture. Like, we had such an amazing time on that trip, and so many memories and laughs. And oh God, there's just this one memory I have where we were staying at the Waldorf Astoria in London, and we came home and were drunk from dinner or whatever we were doing that night, and we start jumping up and down on her bed and yelling bouncy, bouncy, bouncy. It was just, we have a video of it, and I have to go back and watch it sometime just to make myself laugh, because it was such a night. And I'm like, oh my God, we're going to get kicked out of the Waldorf Astoria because we were so loud jumping on this bed. So, and then, a thing that was a good lesson for me, this next thing I'm going to talk about, I started another podcast. I had in my head that I wanted to have a podcast with a co-host. And I started kind of writing down my ideas about what I want to talk about. I went out and found a couple of people that I thought, I didn't know them. I picked 3 people. I didn't know any of them. I met one in person, and I liked him as a person a lot. And then I was teamsing and FaceTiming with another guy who I thought would be a good co-host. And then I ended up picking the third person. And, I had some valuable lessons. And the lessons are, I am not a person that needs a co-host. I have creativity that I like. And for someone to kind of hold me back from doing what I want, or to try to give direction on a show that I'm part of, and they really have no idea anything about a podcast. Their interview skills were not great, and I kept thinking they were going to get better, and they really never did. And I'm not going to talk about the person's name or anything like that, or really talk about the situation, but I learned so much. I also learned that I do not want a podcast where I have constant celebrities only coming on my show. We interviewed so many C-list, D-list, E-list, F-list celebrities. We recorded 4 seasons of this podcast, and only a little over one got out because we ended it. And I realized when the podcast ended, maybe it was because of the co-host that didn't know how to do interviews the right way, or he was bringing on guests that I didn't know and didn't necessarily want to interview or cared about interviewing, or we were trying to make them interesting, and they really weren't. Some of them were, but some of them were just like they had nothing to say. I did get to interview a couple of people that I do really respect and like a lot. And so I can't say it was a total waste of time, but I also realized the most important lesson is never pay anybody ahead of time. You pay them after the work is done and released. That's what you do. I made a huge, huge mistake of paying someone that basically scam me out of a lot of money. And lesson learned for me. I have moved on past it. I'm not upset about it. This person never ever comes into my mind anymore. So I'm a better person after ending that podcast and going through that. And everything happens for a reason, and it taught me a lot of valuable lessons. And I'm glad I did it. Still, I wish I didn't lose the money, but I like the experience. I think it helped me with my interviewing skills in a lot of ways as well, because you're competing with someone trying to get the question out when and it was an experience. I'll just leave it like that. And I am really happy that it's over with. I love this podcast I have because it's my show. It's on my terms. I pick the guests that I want to have, and I get to do the podcast when I want to do it, and I have full creative control over it. It's just me and my amazing editor that we do this show and get it out, and I feel so fortunate, and I feel so lucky that one day I just said, "Oh, I think I want to do this podcast," after leaving my old job where I was doing podcasts more internally, but I like doing them. I learned to be okay with my voice because I used to hate the way my voice sounded, and now I don't care. This is my voice. This is who I am. And I listen to all my podcasts because I have to make sure they're edited correctly. So I have to listen to my voice often. And I've come to terms with I have a nasally gay voice. That's who I am. So, um, but I just am so thankful for this podcast and love it. And I love that it's growing. And I want to continue doing this. And I have such an great lineup coming for 2026, and I cannot wait for you to hear the upcoming episodes for next year because some of them are just mind blowing of these people that I've met, and the people that I've met, I would say 96% of the people that I've interviewed, I like leave the podcast and like want to be friends with them, and I want to keep in touch, and I think they're so amazing, and I'm fortunate. I'm a fortunate person that I started this podcast. One day, hopefully, I can do this full time. This will be my full time job, and this is what I do. I'll wake up every day and do podcast stuff, and that's my dream. That is my dream. So we will see what happens. We'll be right back after a word from our sponsors. Okay, and now back to the show. One of the things, though, that I've also learned this year in 2025 is that I need to do more than just work my real job and do my podcast. I need to learn how to do other things. You know, we do travel often. I do a lot of travel for work. We do a fair amount of travel for personal, but I need a hobby to do something else. I used to paint and I loved it. I used to knit and love it. There's all these things I used to do, and now podcast has become my full-time thing, job, whatever you want to call it, whenever I'm not working. And I feel like I'm constantly doing that. So that's a perfect segue into New Year's resolutions. My first New Year's resolution is that I am going to not dedicate myself 100% to my podcast when I'm not working. I am going to get a new hobby. I'm going to go back to one of my old hobbies. Maybe I'll start painting again. I got about $20,000 of paints in my art studio that haven't been touched in 6 months or 9 months. Maybe I will start, I don't know, go to the gym or something. I don't know. I will come up with a new hobby in the month of January. And that's my first New Year's resolution, not to focus completely on this podcast, even though it's fun and I love it, but I'm not going to completely focus on that. I also want to reflect on back what some of my New Year's resolutions were at the beginning of 2025. And I have to say, I kind of bombed at all of them. I wanted to read at least one book a month. I definitely did not do that. Again, so bogged down with these podcasts that even when I traveled, I did read more than I normally have this year, but I did not read one book a month like I thought. Every author that I interviewed this year, I bought their book. I read a few of them, but it was not one a month. And there were a couple other books that I bought. I'm not even going to make that a New Year's resolution this year. I'm going to read more. That's not at all what my goal is this year. My goal is to start writing a journal every night before I go to sleep. Write what happened to me that day and just have a journal. I did that in college for a couple of years, and I've gone back and kind of looked at it. And even when I first moved to New York City and I was living by myself on the Upper East Side before I met my husband, Andrew, I would write a journal. And I even go back and look at that. I haven't looked at it in years, but you go back and you look at it and you're like, oh my God, that was 27 years ago. And how crazy your life is, what you were doing at that time. And I just kind of wrote like a page a day, and that's my goal. I want to write a page a day. Maybe one day it will be I'll become a famous podcaster and I'll write a book about my life. So you never know. But I'm just doing it just for me, and I think it's healthy to write a journal and be honest in your journal and not just write the good things, but you can go back and reflect on it. I think it's kind of cool. So that's my first New Year's resolution, or my next one is writing a journal. What else? Oh, the other thing I had as a New Year's resolution for 2025 was to buy less skincare. Bombed, completely bombed. I probably bought more skincare this year than I have any other year. I have a problem. It's the fucking TikToks and the Instagram ads that come up and say, this will make you look like you're 20. By just rubbing this cream on your face for 3 weeks, you will look like you're 20 years old. And I fall for it every time. Or I'm reading some article about, do this and your neck will never sag. And I buy all this shit, and then I use it for a couple of weeks. I'm like, this sucks. And I also went through a phase earlier in 2025 where I was buying like $600 a bottle night cream, and then $450 day cream, and then the SPF and the toner and the face wash. And it was like, over $1,000 just for this one thing, this one little set of stuff per month. And that's insane. Plus the Botox and facials and all this other stuff. So I spent so much money on skincare this year. And you know what? The stuff I started off with in 2025, the stuff that's not $600 a bottle, I went back to the stuff that I actually liked. That's more like $85 a bottle. And that's working, and I'm sticking with it. Still doing Botox every 3 months and using the skincare, the day cream, the night cream, the toner, the SPF, and a good face wash, and sticking with those brands. And that's what it is. And if I start getting old looking, hey, it's what happens in life. I can't look like I'm 20 years old as a twink for the rest of my life, right? But I will this year, I really, really will stop buying so much skincare. I have my routine. I'm not going to go off and buy the miracle cream that comes up in Instagram ads. I'm really going to stick to the regimen that I have. If you're ever interested in what I have, let me know. And I started taking collagen pills this past week. I've got this collagen powder I'm going to start drinking every morning. And collagen is supposed to be really good for your skin and health. So there you have it. A new New Year's resolution for 2026 is that I have no choice but to stop shopping. I don't even know like why I buy anything. I have enough. I'm not even kidding. I think I have 90 pairs of tennis shoe sneakers because I bought these new things to put my shoes in. And when you walk in my bedroom, it looks like a department store, like because they're all on display in these clear boxes. And I guess I just didn't realize how many I had. I'm not buying any shoes. I buy new shoes every season for the sneakers. Boots, usually the winter comes and I'm like, oh, I need a new pair of boots. I have so many pairs of boots. I literally probably have 40 pairs of boots. And I don't even wear, and I end up wearing the same like 3 pairs of boots every winter. And so I don't even know why I do this, why I buy all this stuff. And sweaters, there's all these sweaters from Black Friday and Christmas sales and all this other stuff. And I did buy a few things, but I'm like, why? Why do I buy these? I have so many sweaters. My closet is packed. We have a whole extra bedroom that is turned into a closet. Plus, I have a huge walk-in closet, and there's all my summer clothes are currently shoved in these bags under my bed, and then all my winter clothes are out. So I don't even have I have so many clothes, I don't even have enough room to put my winter clothes and summer clothes out in the same closet. It's insanity. I know I'm insane by buying this. I know, but I know I'm not the only one that does this. But my husband's like, how many Amazon boxes or how many boxes can we get delivered from Mr. Porter or Guild a week? What more do you need? And I mean, sunglasses. I bought so many pairs of sunglasses this year, and I don't buy the cheap ones. I buy the Gucci, the Prada, the expensive ones, the $450 sunglasses. But why do I need 15 pairs of sunglasses? I don't. That's the thing. You need 2 pairs maybe. You can get away with 1. But if I would stop spending all this money, I could, I don't know, just have a much bigger savings account. And it is a New Year's resolution to stop shopping, to stop buying all this shit. Also to stop buying these things on TikTok, not clothes or skincare necessarily, but I see something, I think it's cool, and I got to buy it. Why? I don't need any of this stuff. And I buy half this shit on TikTok and I never even use it, or it just sits in the box. So it's crazy. And then I think my biggest New Year's resolution for this year will be to buy a new house. We are renting a house. It's a nice house. It's lovely. It's not a house I would want to buy, but we need our own house. I want also out of Boston area. I want to move outside of the area of Boston and be away from the police sirens and the ambulance sirens and the number of people outside and stuff, and really just have my own backyard where I can do my garden and I can paint the rooms any color I want because it's my house. And if we get a house where the kitchen's a little outdated, we can redo the kitchen. And I have all these ideas in my head about what I want to do when we own a house, because we haven't owned a house in 5 years at this point. So it's time to own again. And we need a house that we can start paying off. So the quicker we pay off that house is the quicker I can retire, because that is my main goal, is to not have a full-time job that I'm tied to, but have a podcast that I can do and something that I really enjoy that's for me. And I am like 10 years or more away from that happening, but it is a goal of mine. I can see retirement, it's not too far away, but it's 10 years away. So, yeah, I mean, I can't complain about this year. I am so thankful for everything that has happened to me this year with this podcast, and even with the ups and downs of the other podcasts that I had that's no longer around. It was a valuable lesson. And again, I would not give that lessons up for anything. It was fun doing it as when we did it. And some money was spent that I wish I didn't spend and wish I still had. But, you live and you learn. And I learned so much doing the other podcast. I've learned so much about myself doing this podcast. Anytime I get an email or a DM from someone, or I see a comment on YouTube or on Instagram about, thank you so much for doing this podcast. Thank you so much for telling this person's story. That person's inspiring. I did a episode with a woman named Bernie, and she decided to transition to a woman, and she's transgender at the age of 66. I mean, you want to talk about bravery and someone that is a survivor and somebody that's inspiring. That is Bernie. And it's people like her that I just admire. And I'm so happy that I got a chance to speak to her and to interview her. And just, again, 97% of the people that I interviewed, I absolutely enjoyed. They were amazing. I love it that they came onto my show, had a great conversation, and they shared who they are. They shared their story, and they taught me something. Every single person I interviewed taught me something. And I know I keep saying that, how thankful I am, but I am thankful for that. And I'm just, having this platform to talk with people, and that people are even listening to me, still baffles me sometimes. And I'm lucky. And thank you all so much again. I hope you have an incredible 2026. I wish everybody a healthy and happy new year. And please continue listening. Again, I have more changes and more themes and tons of ideas for my podcast. Again, if you haven't listened to my Listen Up Grow podcast, I try to do it at least 5 days a week, and I give you LGBTQ plus news in 10 minutes or less. I love doing it. There's so much happening in this world, and it keeps our community, the LGBTQ plus community, informed about what's happening across the world, whether it's good or it's bad, whatever it is. I bring in the news, and again, I love doing it. So thanks for listening. Leave a comment. Tell me what your New Year's resolutions are for 2026. Tell me what you set as a goal in 2025 that you didn't accomplish. Because again, I didn't accomplish really any of my 2025 New Year's resolutions. I had a lot of goals that I accomplished, but not my resolutions. And follow me on Instagram, The Real Zach RE on Instagram, and comment, send me a DM, tell me what's up, tell me what you think about what you would like to hear on this show. I love getting feedback from people that listen to my show about, oh, you should have this on, you should have this guest on, you should have this type of person on, or feature this theme for a month in your show. And all that feedback, I read everything that everybody sends me. So thank you again so much. Have a wonderful new year. Enjoy time with your friends and your family. And looking forward to connecting with you more in 2026. Thanks so much.